What if I told you that buying a new car could actually save you thousands on your taxes? What if I told you this is something that hasn't been possible for over 30 years? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I got some really exciting news for anyone who's planning to buy a new car in the next few years. I'm going to walk you through a complete tax return example showing you exactly where this new deduction is going to appear on the tax form. So for the first time in decades, you can actually deduct the interest you pay on your personal car loan. That's right. Car loan interest is now tax deductible again, but only for a limited time. Thanks to the recently passed One Big Beautiful Bill Act, there's a brand new car loan interest deduction that could save you thousands on your taxes. We're talking up to $10,000 in deductions per year. But here's the best part. You don't even need to itemize to claim it. Now, before we get too excited, there are some pretty specific rules about what qualifies. Your car has to be brand new. It has to be assembled in the United States, and you have to meet certain income requirements. Plus, this whole thing only lasts from 2025 through 2028, so there's definitely a time limit here. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how this new deduction works, who qualifies, and most importantly, I'm going to show you a real tax return example so you can see where this number is going to appear on your tax return. We'll walk through Form 1040 step by step, showing you exactly what to expect when you file. And you can also do this as you plan ahead for 2025 here. Now, let me break down the income phase-out rules because this is where it gets really specific. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, there's a phase-out for this deduction based on your modified adjusted gross income. Here's how it works. You could deduct up to $10,000 per year in interest. But if you're single and your modified AGI exceeds $100,000, your deduction gets reduced by $200 for every $1,000 you're over that threshold. If you're married, file joint, that threshold jumps up to $200,000. So let's walk through an example here to see exactly how this plays out. Let's say you're single and your modified adjusted gross income is $105,500. So you're $5,500 over that $100,000 threshold. Now here's the math. $5,500 divided by 1,000 equates to 5.5. Let's round up to 6. 6 times $200 equals $1,200 in phase out. So if you're otherwise qualified for the full $10,000 deduction, it would now be reduced to $8,800. That's still a significant tax break, but you can see how the income limits really matter. So if you're thinking about buying a new American-made car, or if you're just curious about this new tax break, stick around because this could literally save you $1,000. And trust me, if you're going to want to see where this shows up on your tax return, because it's not where most people think it goes, I'm going to show you the AGI line item that you need to focus on. So pull up your 2024 1040 and we'll walk through this here shortly. All right, so here is a 1040, and again, this is 2024. So this new loan interest deduction is not on a tax form yet. So you're not going to see this obviously in 2024. 2025 tax forms are not ready yet. But what you want to do is pull up your 2024 tax return. If you're thinking about buying a car this year in 2025 and plan to get a loan on it, and you're going to have some loan interest. So pull it up, or even if you're thinking about, buying one next year, what you want to look at is this adjusted gross income here. So in this case, they're at 170,000. But what you want to first look at is this, right? So if you're married, which is this case, which they're married, file and joint return, they're under that $200,000 limit, that threshold, right, for adjusted gross income. So you want to look at line 11 here. So they're under that limit. And if they had loan interest, they buy a car this year and they meet all the requirements of the car, of the vehicle, they can, and to say they had loan interest of $9,000, they can deduct all that $9,000. And where that $9,000 will appear is this, it's what's called above the line. So it's going to show up under line 10 here, adjustments to income. So it's going to reduce their adjusted gross income by another $9,000. Okay. So the most that anyone can kind of, if you're below the thresholds that I gave, so if you're a single, it's $100,000. If you're married, file a joint, your AGI, it's $200,000. If you're below those thresholds and you have loan interest, personal car loan interest, you can deduct up to $10,000 and it's going to reduce your AGI. Okay. Which then obviously reduces your taxable income and then obviously then reduces your tax that you're going to have to pay and everything. So again, this is a deduction. It's not a credit. So if you're kind of pulling up your prior year return, you're like, oh, I owe, $10,000, but if I had this loan interest, that will reduce it. No, it's going to help reduce the overall tax you owe, but it's not going to reduce it dollar for dollar. So this is a deduction. It's an above the line deduction, and it's going to reduce your adjusted gross income. But what you want to do is first figure out, okay, maybe I won't be able to qualify for this at all. So just say in this example, their adjusted gross income is $210,000. Okay. So they're above the limit. So what that means is, so 200,000 is the limit. They're at 210. That's $10,000 over. And remember what I said before, every $1,000 that they're over their threshold, you have to reduce the loan interest by $200. Okay. So in this case, it's $10,000 over, right? So that's 10 times $200, right? So that's $2,000 that they have to reduce their loan interest. So in this example, I said they had $9,000 of loan interest. They have to reduce that 9,000 by 2,000, but they're still getting a $7,000 now deduction, right? It's just they won't be able to max it out. And at a certain point, if your AGI is, like 400,000, for example, you won't be able to get this deduction. So anyways, this is the loan interest. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks again for watching.